Hey everyone, it's time we're back for lunch number 3. Now, one thing I noticed when I went to the research center was I didn't have enough science to actually buy the batteries yet, so one more mission around Kerbin, and hopefully it should be done. The ship I'm going to do here is pretty much the same thing as the other one. It's a little more compact. I want to make a lander design so I can land safely on the surface of Kerbin and get my Kerbal out. But again, yes, pretty much same design, except for a few more parachutes to slow it down a little more. The Science Juniors are actually attached to a smaller tank and rotated, and a smaller orbital phase, just so I can deorbit the craft. And then the main rocket body is roughly the same. And I think that's the vehicle ready for launch. Okay, the vehicle's on the pad, and I think we're ready for launch. Alright, so launch goes pretty good, pretty much the same as any other launch I've had. The difference is I almost lost control in the early part of the mission. I started my gravity burn a little bit too early, and my ship wanted to pull kind of to the northeast, and I really had to fight it to bring it back. Again, that was, I think, Ferrum's affect my craft, because it wanted to continue on the path it was going, and luckily I was able to stop that, or at least lessen it before I got into orbit. Now, with the series currently, I think I might push it back to Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Just so I can add more content to the channel. I want to do some other games, pass some other gameplay. If you have any suggestions, put down in the comment section. I definitely read those. So I'll play whatever game you would suggest. Well, most games you'll suggest, because I won't play some games. But yeah, other than that, the launch goes pretty well. Pretty much a standard launch. Just getting up to I bring my apoapse up while extending the orbit out. Unfortunately, what I wanted to do in this launch was get a high above Kerbin orbit. I failed to do so. That's why the Science Juniors have been more science I can collect. So unfortunately, I didn't have the fuel to do that. So instead, I try to go as high as I possibly can. Okay, so on to the boost stage. This is the main stage that'll get me into orbit. Again, this goes pretty standard. I wanted to actually, as you can see, I adjust my my nav ball to just below the horizon. Try to extend that apoapse out and make sure my orbit's really round. I want to push the orbit out to where I have a fairly high apoapse on the nearer side of Kerbin, the dark side of Kerbin, because I don't want to wait until, almost a complete orbit to be at my apoapse due to my power restrictions. So I burn below the horizon, and you can see it bumped up my apoapse. And then I will burn up here in a second, so I can further push out the apoapse. Now what burning up does, for some of you who don't know, is actually trades off between your next node, either apoapse or periapse, and it'll actually shift the orbit toward that node. So my apoaps will get higher, but my periaps will start going into the planet, as you can see right there. So I keep doing that. I do it until I have little fuel, little to no fuel in the stage. The stage was meant to boost me up. Now I go to my lander stage, which has an engine good enough to go to my apoaps, circularize a little bit to ensure I have a capture orbit. Since I have limited powers, if I don't make it now or at my apoaps, I could possibly be stuck in orbit. So I go to my apoaps, and I'll burn prograde to raise that periaps up. After doing some sciencing, I got the high above Kerbin, which I didn't. I'll do an EVA to make sure Jebediah gets his EVA report, just whatever science I possibly can, try to salvage what I can in this mission. Again, I was trying to achieve high above Kerbin orbit, it failed. So now I'm just trying to get whatever I can. Okay. Now burn the prograde while looking at my fuel, making sure I have enough. Raise that periaps up so I don't smash into the atmospheric Kerbin at really fast speeds. Make sure I can aero brake. That's a little too much, so I'll try to spin around. And bring that periaps back down a little bit. And I usually shoot around 32 kilometers, or 32,000 kilometers. Or 32,000 meters. I get this confused all the time. And then I'll time warp it back into the planet. As you can see, my electric charge is draining really fast, and that's currently the limiting factor in these missions. I would love to go other places, but I just can't. Okay, so we're now hitting the atmosphere and starting to bring our periaps down into the planet Kerbin. I make sure with a little bit of power I have left, to make sure that my ship is actually facing the right direction, make sure I won't completely flip out and go the wrong way into the atmosphere. My electric charge is now depleted, so pretty much ship by itself. I get some really concerning wobbling that I hope the ship's not going to spin around for, but luckily for me it stays pretty flat. And I'm making sure the apoaps is coming down. The thing with aero braking, if your apoaps is too high and you come in at this low of altitude, you could possibly skip back off into space because your apoaps doesn't come down fast enough, or doesn't come back down into a capture orbit. Okay, so I'm getting some atmospheric effects now. My landing gear is heating up a little bit concerning. I'm hoping these don't explode. They're kind of not necessary, but preferred. I'd love to have these when landing. It'll save my science, save my craft, and keep it at one piece. The shield's not going down as fast as last time, which is a good thing. But the temperature on those landing legs were kind of concerning. Luckily went down, and that's a bad sight in front of us. We have mountains in front of us, and it looks like we're landing right in the middle of them. Out of every surface in Kerbin, I am dreading this the most. Rocky surface come down on is not good. Hopefully down there we'll have a flat surface that we land on. Okay, coming down, just check my craft. Everything looks good. Watching the surface come down, and it's looking pretty rocky. It's a little flatter, so maybe I might get lucky with that. Oh, no. It seems to be a hill below us. And there's our heat shield exploding. Yeah, definitely coming down on a hill. Well, looks like it might be in a flat spot. Coming down. Okay, we're definitely landing on a hill. How bad of a hill is it? Oh, it's a horrible hill. Oh, and I'm rolling. I have no power, so I can't stop this roll. As you can see, pretty much all my science is gone. My capsule's now hopefully stopping. Nope, it's picking up speed again. So this was a complete failure of a landing. Hopefully we can save Above Kerbin before the end of the roll, but again, we don't have power. We can't try to get the SAS to compensate for this roll. So I'm rolling downhill, hoping that the capsule holds up. So could be slowing down. Nope, going downhill again. It's a very, very tall hill. I'm just hoping we can still salvage this mission. Hopefully get Jebediah back home safely. And it looks like we might be slowing down. Of course, we're now at the bottom of the hill, in a nice little valley. And we have stopped. Okay, so let's EVA Above Kerbin because I can see the hatches on the opposite side of the spacecraft from the ground. Let's go plant a flag and take a soil sample. That'll at least give us a little bit more science. So there's our soil sample. And let's plant the flag. And name it major failure. Okay, now we planted our flag. We can get back in the capsule, hopefully. Nothing showing up. Oh, there's grab, so let's see if we can jump. There we go. And then board the spacecraft and recover it. And hopefully we get enough science for our batteries. And we got 12.3 science, which is a 52 science. So yeah, we should definitely be able to do batteries next mission. Probably go around the Mun, maybe land the Mun. So yeah, thank you for watching. This is Timestorm, and I'll see you in the next episode.